going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today's goal, I'm actually going to be working on the dash of the car. So I have Wheels of the Danforth coming up on August the 13th. A couple things I want to get done to this just because the car needs the attention now. Pull the dash out. When the floor was done, the dash stayed in, and the firewall needs some attention, so I want to get that wrapped up. The dash is kind of like vibrating a lot. It's been apart so many times, not fully apart. Want to clean up a lot of the wiring harness that's in there as well, and retouch up the wrap. I've kind of halfway wrapped the car, so things now are starting to peel. Had a door dent here that I want to kind of just touch up. I got to do the roof, got to seal the trim for the windshield, and touch the spots that have started to peel up, and redo. I got new mirrors I need to change. These are manual, want to go to power, so I have a full mirror kit for that. Do the side skirts as well. Quarter panel needs to be done. The spoiler top half needs to be done. This used to be red looking carbon fiber, it's not now. Same with the hood vents, just want to make it all one color. This fender with the fender exit has completely peeled with the heat. So that needs to be touched up a lot as well. A lot of it didn't stick down there, so yeah. I'm gonna start pulling this apart. Dash is gonna be a pain, but it needs to be done. And a lot of the wiring, I just want to kind of like eliminate stuff that I don't use and kind of clean up. And then new battery cables. The main ones I did for the battery relocation have started to corrode over time, so not the greatest quality of wire, so I want to get that done also and run a new set front to back, because the car does have some grounding issues. I can hear with the stereo system, you can kind of hear like amplifier whine, so I want to do that and then actually finish tightening up the stereo system. So a lot to do, but let's get started. Alright, so inside here, just to give you guys more of a glimpse as to why I want to pull a dash. So panels are starting to now not hold. A lot of these use like a 7mm or 9/32 screw with a slight washer on it, but these all have parts where the screws go through, they slide on. So the plastic that's deformed around that just now kind of isn't holding from there and just kind of comes forward. Things are rather loose. So when I first got this car and I swapped everything over from the other Trans Am, which was nicknamed Red Bull at the time, and everything in that car that had happened from the fire damage, I literally thrashed everything out of that car into this car in 3 days, full swap. So a lot of corners were cut. When I redid the engine harness with a standalone aftermarket harness and ran that through, also did it in a rush as well. When I first did this swap, when it was NA, everything was pretty much wire tucked. It was pretty clean, and then from there I've never really gone back to that. I just always thrashed on the car last minute and kind of just made the car function. Didn't care about how it looked. So now that stuff's starting to bite me in the ass. So this is going to be a whole like remove the dash, the radio, take all that wiring kind of apart, and then rerun what I need. Really kind of lay out a nice one kind of or multiple section harness that ties into the fuse panel again, and make that all nice and pretty. Get rid of all like the rat's nest down the corner there, all behind the dash. Zip tie stuff together, run them nicely. Bought a whole roll of wires, so kind of do that. Actually, like mount things the way they should be. So that will really clean things up. If I have time during the next couple of days, because I got a couple of projects going on, I want to remove the headliner as well. I have a center overhead console out of like a Envoy or newer to this car, early 2000s, that has a couple map lights pockets up top. It's got the digital readout for outside temperature. I have that as well, and it's a really easy thing to install. So I want to do that. This mirror that I got on is just a really cheap Amazon stick-on mirror, and you can see as the headliner is kind of like falling down, I need to kind of strengthen that as well and glue that up. So I know because the windshield has leaks, the windshield needs to be replaced. The roof is fairly rusty. I am going to sand that down, kind of just seam seal it a little bit, buy myself some time, wrap the roof. That'll stop a lot of the leak of water, and I can spray adhesive on this with a little bit of hardened like foam and tuck this back up. So that will also be part of the plan as well. So started the dash. I've never fully pulled a dash out on an F-body. I've done parts of it. So they have a million screws. A lot of them aren't back in, but I've never pulled a climate control assembly out either, but all this has to come out. Leaving the steering wheel in, so that the column will stay in. So I'm just going to drop that down once I get more access to everything else. Key things with this, you're going to need smart roll of tape. Everything you unplug or anything that you cut, write it down, label it. Makes your life a lot easier. If you're keen on knowing the wiring and what is positive, negative on that said wire, write that down as well. That way when you go to hook everything back up, you know where it's supposed to go, and then you can kind of lay out how long of a piece of wire you need to make it all nice and tidy. So I got that. I have a whole new roll of solder, butane to get all that going, and yeah, we're gonna dive in. Got the dash pad off and got that side of the dash out, radio's out. I'm just trying to see a nicer way to take out the heater controls with the cable lines. I'll have the cluster out in a moment, but doesn't seem like it'd be too bad to do to pull out, in all honesty. Going through so much of the stuff that I've just hacked together and God knows how long ago. Dash vents and stuff are cracked all across. Main reason why the venting doesn't work too great. This car doesn't have AC, so not a huge deal. Old boost gauge line was pinched. I preemptively at least done spades to remove the pod here. Underneath here is going to be the main issue. My monster tack that I kind of have hidden the dash here. I gotta label the wires before I cut them and run that or take that out. And then it's going to be the same for everything else in here. So I do have an alarm starter on this car. I'm going to pull that out because it's really old and starting to get problems. So we're going to delete that for now until I put a new one in, and then do that separate install. And I'll add features back to this car that I had on my previous one with trunk sensing and trunk release all on the remote. I don't have that currently. Got to fix the wiring inside the center console as well for the power windows. I want to make a new panel here to put in the power mirror switch, which is rather large, the factory one. So I don't know if I'll keep these buttons or try to find some originals again, space them out and put the power window switch and our power mirror switch in the middle. Figure that out later. Not a big deal right now. But yeah, let's get rest of this out. It's pretty much good to go. Just gotta unplug the boost controller there and then just kind of label off wires for that, and we'll start gutting this fish. Okay, so making some pretty quick progress here. Just lots of screws. So the radio pod here is held in with two main 10 mils. They used to be bolted down into the floor, but since the floor's been changed, we didn't put that back in, and the floor wasn't exactly perfect, so it was really tight. So I didn't reuse those, and I cut it all out to fit the double din. so I didn't have to worry about that. There's a third bolt that does bolt into here as well for the radio pod, and then it came out. Disconnecting the lines for the climate control was fairly easy once I figured out they're just clipped in, and just was pain just to get a small pick in there to release the clip, get them out. There's a 10 mil underneath on this side, and then the top kind of brackets there, 7 mils, pop that out. So this whole side is ready to come out. I gotta feed this wiring harness that was for the buttons up here through the dash, unclip this guy, feed that through, and then it looks like the main part here, there's another main bolt underneath down here, 10 mil. There's a ground bolt somewhere along the side here as well, and looks like the rest is just kind of bolted on with the steering column, so I gotta drop the column and I think it will come right out. So after that is going to be literally just taking all of this wiring out and then putting back what I need. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I don't think wiring rise is actually going to be too bad, because I'm really cutting a lot out and then just adding back as I go. So it shouldn't be too bad. I kind of marked things that just kind of looped into themselves where they need to go or what they're connected to, and putting it back should be a fairly bit of a breeze. So yeah, we'll clean up a lot of this. There are a lot of bulbs that are out, so a lot of places have small like LED bulbs that I need to change. So there's one here that kind of shines down on the comm controls that hasn't been working a long time. They're really small bulbs, so I want to get that. Same with the heater controls, the bulbs in them were gone, they're same size. So yeah, let's finish plugging away, get this fully out. So it's going to drop the column down. Alright, so with the dash out, it's easy to show where the main bolts are. So there would be the two for the steering column, another main one here as well, and this is what I mean by a lot of panels, where the screw holes go on the panels themselves, they're slotted, so they kind of slide back out when they're deformed. So I'm going to get some new screws, but a little bit bigger of a washer to help hold them into place. From there, on the back side of things, so I have my air pure wideband gauge permanently mounted there, so I just unplugs, no problem. The top, so screw there, one there, one there, one there, and that's pretty much where it came through. On the reverse, just gonna hop over. So we had this connector here, which I have no idea what that's for, but left it on. There's another dash light that I gotta find a new bulb for, but it's pretty much empty, so it came out fairly easily. Just gotta feed the main harness through that was for the cluster, had that wiring switch and that stuff, and they came right out. I do have 6.5-inch speakers mounted up top. That was a pain to make work with the ducting. Just kind of melted the plastic a little bit and kind of deformed it to go around. Put better speakers up top, so not too bad. So the dash is out. It's gonna be fun to clean this all up, but I'll give you guys a look at what I got going on. So here's all the rat's nest I gotta fix. So going to take out everything that's been added to the car, kind of pull it back away. I want to bring the main car harness itself up and over the column, kind of follow that line there of another main harness, and then I want to bring everything center up to here, to that point, tie into the main fuse panel for the small electrical stuff, or I might get a separate fuse panel and do that for smaller things, and then kind of put that all nicely back together. I do want to pull the carpet back and try to get to the clutch pedal with all this really tucked up out of the way, because the firewall's got a small crack right where the clutch pedal bolts to. So when I'm now starting to press on the clutch, the firewall is starting to flex. It is a common problem on the F-bodies for that to happen. And when we did the floors, we didn't have the dash out. And so there's no real way to kind of reinforce that area at that point in time. It was on a time crunch to make that more sturdy. Now it's starting to become a problem, so I need to get that addressed, because driving aggressively, going to clutch in and out, I'll miss a shift or can't get into gear. So I need to get that addressed. Now would be the perfect time to do so. So yeah, that's the plan. Clean this all up, finally put the whole dash really back together, the under panels, all that stuff back together, move wiring that's on this side back to where it was from when we did the floors, and that way I have more leg room again. Things aren't dropping down or panels are falling back off. So that's going to be that, and then we'll address the outside. I'm hoping doing this portion here takes me about a full day to kind of really go through everything and clean it all up the way I want, and then put it all back together. Another day or so in terms of body, in terms of fixing up the roof, doing that. Same with the headliner. So I'm looking about 2 to 3 days worth of interior electrical, and then I have a new battery cable to run front to back. That's no big deal. And then I can focus on wrapping the bumper, touching up parts of the skirt. Quarter panel shouldn't be too bad to do. Same with the rear bumper, shouldn't be too bad to do on the car at all. Just need a nice day to do it on. So I'm not too worried about making that pretty much more complete. And that's really the game plan. It's just kind of cleaning up some stuff and making the car look a little bit more complete than anything else. So with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.